revelation when Harold Shipman, a trusted family doctor, was found to be one of the most prolific serial killers in history. Active from the 1970s through the late 1990s, Shipman's crimes were particularly chilling because he abused his position of trust, making his actions not just a betrayal, but a profound breach of medical ethics. This story reminds us of the importance of vigilance and the need to question and verify the trust we place in authority figures. Harold Shipman, known as Fred to those close to him, was born into a working-class family in 1946 in Nottingham, England. His early life seemed typical for the time, but a few key events and aspects may have shaped the person he would become. Shipman was particularly close to his mother, Vera, who was a dominant presence in his life. Her death from lung cancer when Shipman was just 17 was a pivotal moment for him. Shipman witnessed his mother's pain and suffering and the relief that morphine injections provided her. This experience, Shipman's early career as a doctor in Todmorden, West Yorkshire, was marked by his reputation as a hard-working and caring GP. However, beneath this facade, Shipman was developing a God complex, believing he had the right to decide life and death. This dangerous belief, combined with his medical knowledge and the trust placed in him by his patients, allowed him to carry out his crimes undetected for years. Looking back at Shipman's early life and career, it's clear that a complex combination of personal trauma, psychological issues, and the power dynamics of his profession set the stage for his later criminal behavior. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the potential for evil hidden behind a mask of professionalism and care. It is often cited as significant in Shipman's life, possibly influencing his later criminal actions. Shipman's relationship with his mother and her death left him with a profound interest in medicine. He pursued this passion, eventually becoming a doctor. However, Shipman's life wasn't without early signs of trouble. While at medical school, he was known for being a loner, and he developed a pethidine addiction, which led to his first brush with the law. This incident, Harold Shipman, a family doctor, committed unthinkable crimes under the guise of medical care. Active from the 1970s until his arrest in 1998, Shipman's actions deeply betrayed the trust placed in him by his patients and the broader community. Shipman's crimes involved the deliberate harm of many of his patients. He manipulated his position as a trusted doctor to carry out these acts without detection for years. Shipman's method was alarmingly consistent.
Interested in knowing about Britain's most famous serial killer? It was this guy over here. His name was Harold Frederick Shipman. His origin story started off when he was 17. His mother had just been diagnosed with cancer and he would watch doctors administrate morphine to her. This is what was thought to inspire his sadistic killing sprees. Harold got his medical degree and started practicing medicine very soon after that. In March 1975 was when he killed his first patient. This was done by administrating a lethal amount of diamorphine. Police could only charge Shipman with 15 counts of murder, but it is thought to believe he killed between 250 to 450 people. A number of theories were put forward to explain why Shipman had an urge to murder. One was to avenge his mother's death. Others suggest that the doctor had a god complex. Interested in studying law? Check out the University of Law today.
Shipman's eventual capture was a watershed moment for British law enforcement and the medical community. It led to stringent changes in medical practice regulations, including how death certificates are issued and monitored, and the prescription and storage of controlled drugs. Shipman's case underscores the importance of vigilance, both within the medical profession and among the public.
In the quiet town of Hyde, England, Dr. Harold Shipman was a beloved doctor known for his dedication and kindness. Dr. Shipman often visited elderly patients at home, seeming genuinely concerned for their well-being with his charming demeanor. Despite mysterious patient deaths, colleagues dismissed concerns, believing Shipman was simply an adept and caring physician. Suspicion arose when a family member questioned the sudden death of a vibrant woman after a routine visit. Their demand for justice led to an investigation revealing a pattern of overprescriptions and unexplained fatalities. Authorities discovered Shipman had administered lethal painkiller doses, culminating in his arrest in 1998. The shocking truth shattered community trust, revealing a killer hidden in plain sight and altering doctor-patient relationships forever.
In the community, receive your treatment in the community, with your family around you, your usual friends, then this all adds to the speed of recovery from the illness. Come and stand where it's convenient for you.
Sorry, Doctor.
I'll come and stand where you'd like me to stand.
Right. It's very good of you, I do apologize. Is it possible for you to, rather than standing there, would it be possible for you to sort of come and get something out of your car and then go back in?
I've been advised to stand and let you take a photograph and then go away. And I'm sure you've had enough time to take a decent photograph.
Is it possible for you just to say anything at all?
Back into surgery to do my surgery.
But you have said you have nothing to...
Continuing on with the Whole Life Order series, next up is Harold Shipman. This man is quite possibly the most prolific serial killer in modern history. He's a British GP that was convicted of killing 15 of his patients, however it's believed he killed about 250 people. Yep, you heard that right, 250 victims. Harold Shipman targeted vulnerable and elderly people who trusted them as his doctor, and the way he would kill his victims were either by a fatal drug overdose or prescribing them the wrong medication. Harold Shipman was also known as Dr. Death or the Angel of Death, and he carried out these attacks from 1975 up until 1998. Now, in 1998, another doctor did come forward and expressed concerns about Harold Shipman's mortality rate. A lot of his patients were dying, and they noticed this. This was in the March, but however in the April, the police closed this case due to insufficient evidence, and since the case was closed, Harold Shipman killed 3 more people after this. In the August of that year, it was actually a taxi driver that came forward to the police and said that he also had suspicions about Harold Shipman killing his patients. And the reason for this was he would take the elderly patients to Harold Shipman and he would realise that after they'd go and visit him, they would die. His final known victim was a woman named Kathleen Grundy, and this is what got him caught. She was found dead in her home and Harold Shipman was the last person to see her alive. He'd signed her death certificate, putting as the cause of death old age. Now, Kathleen had a daughter called Angela, and Angela was a solicitor. And she became concerned when another one of her solicitor friends flagged up that a will had been made by her mother. However, there were doubts about the authenticity of this will, as the will excluded Angela from the will and left everything to Harold Shipman. And this is when police suspicion finally arose, and an autopsy was carried out on Kathleen, and there was a lethal amount of diamorphine found in her system. And Harold would be arrested on the 7th of September 1998. Police had also found the typewriter that he'd used to forge this will. There are many reasons as to why he could have wrote this will. Another one was that he wanted to get caught because his actions were out of control, or another one being that he was going to take the money and flee the country. The police began to look into other cases about Harold Shipman and other patients, and they only looked into 15 of these cases. And they found a trend of Harold Shipman prescribing diamorphine and then signing the death certificate, as well as falsifying medical records saying that these patients had poor health and that they died due to natural causes, which obviously wasn't true. He was only charged with 15 of the murders between 1995 and 1998. And after 6 hours of deliberation, he was found guilty on all 15 charges of murder. And for his crimes, he was given a whole life order. To this day, Harold actually denies his guilt, claiming that he didn't do anything. And not only this, his wife actually still supports him and also claims he's innocent. But on the 13th of January 2004, at age 57, Harold Shipman was to take his own life in his prison cell.
Shipman's downfall came after the death of one of his victims, Mrs. Kathleen Grundy. When a will was discovered leaving her estate to the doctor, it raised suspicions. Investigations revealed that the will had been forged by Shipman himself, leading the authorities to reopen files on his previous victims. Upon closer examination, a suspicious pattern in the deaths of many of his patients came to light. Although the court convicted him of killing only 15 people, the real number was much higher. The most shocking thing was that he didn't commit these murders solely for financial gain. Psychological analysis revealed that Shipman suffered from a severe mental disorder, possibly stemming from the trauma of losing his mother when he was just 7 years old. He had witnessed her suffering from cancer and how morphine helped her. causing him to use it for his victims. In 2004, he took his own life in his cell. His story remains one of the most shocking in the world of crime.